May we meet you, ma'am?
I am Senator Nkechi Nwaogu.
That is not all you should be known for.
Well, I am currently, like I said earlier, I am Senator Nkechi Nwaogu. I am from Abia State. I am from Abia Central, and from the good people of Osisiomongwa local government area, which is in Abia Central. Currently, I am the state coordinator for Tinubu Shetima Women Presidential Campaign Council. I'm also the director for parliamentarians for Southeast for Tinubu Shetima Presidential Council.
Okay, ma'am. Politically, you are a member, a chieftain of the APC.
Correct.
And that is why you are the campaign
coordinator for women. Abia State.
Okay, ma'am. Shortly before now, you said you're a distinguished senator. Mommy, are you serving or past?
I'm a non-serving, as we would like to be addressed. Non-serving, because a senator is a senator for life. So I'm non-serving. I served for 8 years between 2007 and 2015. I also went to the House of Representatives between 2003 to 2007. And in the last 4 years ago, I was appointed the Pro-Chancellor Chairman of University of Calabar between 2017 and 2021. In the last, since 2015, I have been in APC, All Progressive Congress, from Abia State.
Okay, ma'am. What would be your assessment of the administration of this outgoing government?
If you look at the infrastructure about it to garner votes, and they never did much about it. But this current administration, they were able to say they will complete it, and they did complete it. Apart from that, we know today that previous administrations talked about single currency, single financial administration. They talked about it, but they never had the courage to implement it. As we were told, or as we read last few days, we can see that the Ajokuta steel mill has also been totally relieved of indebtedness from the previous foreign investors that were not doing much to aid Nigeria to have access to steel products we've been importing. But this administration has also made it possible today that our Jokuta steel mill is today has been revived and is going to lead to massive industrialization of our dear nation. You can also see the completion of the Abuja-Kaduna rail line, despite the fact that this very administration has been besieged by unnecessary, unwarranted attacks from the Boko Haram and the other vices that have been destroying the nation's infrastructure. There are so many things to talk about this administration, if you ask me. Just currently, we are witnessing the change of our currency. No administration has had that courage to say, let us change our currency in order to see if it will abate corruption, and if it will ensure that it will help us to have a smoother election by not giving undue advantage to any particular party or something. So there are so many things, if you ask me, my own opinion, positive things that should be credited to this current administration in terms of their achievement when you're beginning to review. So many of them, I can tell you. I know that there has been also there have been so many vices, like the issue of the insecurity all over the nation. That, you know, if when we begin to look at the history, it has been around since even before 1999, but it's just that they have been progressing. But I know that government is a continuum. As the new administration will come on board from May next year, I am very sure that these challenges will be tackled in various ways, and hopefully they will become a thing of the past. And look at the deep sea port in Lagos. These are new things, new innovations, things that have come on board in this very administration. There's a lot to talk, positive things to talk about this administration.
Okay, ma'am. Talking about infrastructure, recently the then Minister of Transport, Nkechi, talked about the rail, and that rail crossed over to the Niger Republic. And as we speak, at this part of the globe, the southeast, the old rails are removed. And there's been agitation here and there that the federal government has boycotted the southeastern state from that rail, while we have it in a foreign country. What do you take on that?
Well, I am an Easterner, and I will also lament that we should have had some establishment of the rail lines in our own zone before going to any foreign country. But who knows, maybe there could be some form of bilateral arrangements or things that will aid development of our country. I'm not in a position to say why was it taken to foreign countries before ours. But as an Easterner, and knowing that we ought to have a viable, dependable rail line in our area, I will also urge this very administration or the incoming administration to please ensure that we are served with adequate rail lines. I will not say they shouldn't have gone to foreign countries. For instance, developed countries like America and Europe, they do give aids. Some people will say, why would they give aids to African countries when there are some poor people in America? But it's not done like that. You know, that's how government is all over the world.
Recently, the NBS came up with the statistics about 133 million Nigerians who are now poor as we speak. And then the World Bank also came up with the minimum wage that was rated at 30,000 naira minimum wage, that even as we speak, because of the poor economy, that minimum wage of 30,000 is about 19,350 naira in terms of economy. And these were the three major cardinal points Mr. President promised Nigerians.
Well, yes, I agree that the nation called Nigeria, that we have been bedeviled with poverty challenges. Why? Within the last 2-3 years, there are certain things that are beyond the control of a particular nation, especially, including Nigeria inclusive. One was the event of COVID-19 that ravaged the whole world. It affected every economic facet of every nation. And those nations like Nigeria that did not or still do not have some kind of safety net are worst hit. They are worst hit, and a lot of countries are still they are still trying to come out of the quagmire that's happened, or the adverse effect of COVID-19. That is one. Secondly, even most recently, the Russian-Ukrainian war has also affected countries worldwide. For a nation like Nigeria that is almost like solely import dependent, especially things like edible things or everything Nigeria imports, and any problem from any part of outside Nigeria affects Nigeria and other countries like us. Thirdly, there has been in our own internal problems that we have, insecurity problems. Before, we used to refine and export 2 million, 3 million barrels of our crude on daily basis. I know that in the last 1 year, Nigeria has been battling with even getting up to 1.2, 1.3. In fact, there were months that Nigeria we were able to produce 900 and something barrels of crude. Definitely, that will affect your capacity to manage a country like ours. Thirdly or fourthly, Nigeria, with the level of insecurity that has besieged our nation, that has affected, especially in the northern part of our country, a lot of parts of that country, the part of that country are now categorized as being internally displaced, and their sources of livelihood have been totally tampered with, and they have now become dependent on the lean forces of the government and other people. So I'm not surprised that in the last 3-4 years of this administration, that with the myriad of adverse national and international problems that have besieged our nation, I am not surprised that we have a statistics of like 133 million of our population being rated as poor. And the other one that you talked about was
talking about the infrastructure, talking about the rail that was built across a neighboring country.
Yes. Well, I have addressed that one of the rail.
The economy, I talked about the rate of the minimum wage.
The rate of the minimum wage, if you see worldwide today, yes, I agree. They are all encompassed in the adverse effects, as I've mentioned, in the last 3-4 years. It's talking about the COVID-19, talking about the Ukraine-Russia war, talking about the insecurities that have ravaged our own country, coming from the West African part of African region. You see the ISWAP people coming into Nigeria, disrupting our citizens, making more people in the northern part of the nation to be internally displaced, and their sources of livelihood have been badly tampered, if not completely obliterated. It doesn't require a rocket science to say that with a nation, with an environment, with an economic environment such as what we have currently, which is not as a result of bad administration. No, it's not. It could have been any administration. What could we have done to have completely obliterated the menace of the Boko Haram? Nothing. It started even before this administration, and that has cost our nation. Our productivity has been badly damaged, and with that, the inflation is at one of the highest in Africa as we speak, and it has eroded into the value of our of our money in Nigeria. So, and this inflation, actually, because of these other things that I mentioned, like the Ukraine war, and even today in America, they are having floods that has never happened. They are having bad weather that has never happened in the last. I'm told that in UK, the bad weather, the level of cold weather that they have, it has never happened in the last 40 years. It is beyond any government's control to say like, what could we have done? And we had the same flood that ravaged our farmlands. This is where, here we are, the present government is encouraging our citizens to imbibe, to go into farming. And here we have this natural disaster, the floods that rendered the farms completely destroyed. These are the reasons why there is inflation. And what is inflation? Inflation is when few goods are chasing, when demand exceeds supply, you will have hyper cost and hyperinflation, and this hyperinflation makes it that their take-home pay does not take you home. And it is not as a result of bad administration. No, I don't believe in that. Because I can assure you today, a lot of people do not know that this present administration, this government has the greatest number of interventions for Nigerians in terms of the NISAL Finance Bank that gives anchor borrowers money, that the central bank also has so many interventions. It has never happened. It has never been this rosy. The only thing is that many people do not know about these interventions so that they can access them. Today, Bank of Industry has intervention that will help graduates not to go to be looking for white collar jobs. Once you graduate, you go to I'm not campaigning for them, I'm not canvassing for them, but this is one of the federal government, this administration's intervention program for our teeming graduates who ordinarily will be unemployed. If they can go to Bank of Industry, if they can go to NISAL Finance Bank, if they can go to Central Bank, they will have these programs and they can key in rather than looking for somebody to employ them.
Okay, ma'am. Mommy, recently, both at the pages of the newspaper and our new media, known as the social media, a lot of people are pointed at accusing figures, and there are agitations here and there about the three cardinal points that the president talked about, that is the economy, the security, and corruption. And it is only in this administration that the monkey swallowed millions of naira, and the snake swallowed millions of naira, and a sitting accountant general doing away with 109 billion naira. And then it looks as if this administration is looking the other way when it comes to corruption.
It's not true. I don't agree with you that this administration looks the other way when it comes to corruption.
No, it's an administration, not my personal.
No, I don't mean you. I mean them.
Okay,
for instance, it is only in this administration that a serving accountant general will be relieved of his job, prosecuted, or is being prosecuted as we speak. Yes. It is only in this Buhari's administration. This is somebody who does not care whose ox is God. If you are in the wrong and it gets to the agencies that are responsible for handling that, they do that without looking at you. It is only in this administration that a secretary to the government of Federation would be relieved of his job and prosecuted. It is only in this administration that a serving CJN in Justice of Nigeria will be relieved of his job and prosecuted. So I do not believe that this administration
Looks the other way.
they look the other way. They do not look the other way. And you remember, there are three arms of government. There is the executive, there is the judiciary, and there is the legislature. Each one of them is completely independent. So if the executive says, hey, we have found this person culpable of something, and another arm says, no, we didn't, there is nothing the executive can do about it. That shows that we are practicing democracy.
Okay, ma, before we go to your position in the state here, as it concerns the campaign of the presidential candidate of APC, you just said something about the three arms of government. And recently, Mr. President promised Nigerians when the Ohanese visited him, and he promised them that he has left everything for the court, and whatever the court decides, that's what is going to abide by, the rule of law. And then recently, the appeal court discharged and acquitted Nnamdi Kanu. And then the Justice of the Federation, the AJ and Malami, came up to say he was only discharged and not acquitted. As if that was not enough, less than 24 hours, the Federal Executive Council held a meeting, and they come out to say he was discharged and not acquitted, and he's still in detention. And these three judges that presided over this judgment were posted out. So what's your take on that, Amma?
Well, my take on this is I'm not in the executive and I'm not a lawyer. I do not know what informed their opinion in taking the decisions that they did. For me, and as a mother, I would have been happier to see my son released and set free. That's as maternal instinct and concern as a mother, as an Igbo woman. But as a Nigerian, I would say that, just like I put it, there must be something. And I'm hoping maybe by the time they get to the apex court and maybe a positive ruling, the one that is favorable to our son, that will be the end of it. There might not be any, there will not be, there is no other known legal step further to go. So let's leave it, because at that appeal court, there is still another court. Yes, another higher court. That's the way I would put it.
Okay, ma, back here in the state, you are the coordinator, or rather the chairperson for women.
For Tinubu Shettima.
For Tinubu Shettima.
Yes.
And talking about Tinubu Shettima and the government of APC, there have been too many things. One, Tinubu has been accused of not facing the beds, town hall meetings, and so on. And the latest of it all was when he went to the Chatham House in London and granted an interview, and not here in Nigeria. Mom, how do you think Tinubu is going to salvage this country?
They say my leader and my presidential candidate, which is who is Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and his vice president, Senator Shettima, they are both eminently qualified with avalanche of experiences, known experiences, performances that are on record to show, especially Ahmed Tinubu. Everybody knows or have seen, they can't obliterate the record of his performance in Lagos between 1999 to 2007. They can't take that away, and because they know, because Lagos as a state is more than 3, 4, 5 of some states.
That's true.
So for somebody to have successfully governed Lagos, established foundation on which successive governors have come on board and built on what he has set in. I think that Tinubu is politically rugged, economically sound, and academically sound. And where he comes from gives him that advantage. Lagos is truly, still is a commercial capital of Nigeria, and that's where he comes from. Somebody can come from, yes, we are all 36 states, but not all states are equal in every ramification. So this man comes from a state that can be even called a nation of its own, and he managed it proficiently. He managed Lagos State. He established landmark projects that are still on even as we speak. So I think that our presidential candidate, Ahmed Tinubu, he possesses the character, the quality, the experience, and the political sagacity that you cannot but say he is the one. He has to be the one. You don't, I don't want to go into too much, but I know that our candidate, that is why people batter him left, right, and center, because they know that he's the person to beat. But he's the right person. He's an entrepreneurial par excellence man. He's the person that can turn water to be wine. Politically.
Another Jesus.
He's not Jesus. He's not Jesus. He's not Jesus. But he is the one that he knows where the economic shoes are pinching Nigeria. He will be able to look at issues passionately, and he is a known detribalized person. He is going to extend his hand of friendship to the east, to the west, to the north, and to every cranny of nook and cranny of our nation. Okay. So I have no doubt that Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the guy, is the person, is the right person, is the shoe, he has the feet that will fit the shoe. He has the head that will match the heart. So I think he's the right person. I believe so.
Okay. Recently, since after Obasanjo's administration in 2007, the Igbos have been agitating seriously for Igbo presidency. And recently, a man emerged through one Labour Party, and a lot of people, including the then chairman of Afenifere in Lagos State, and governors seriously support for him. And what is your take about P2B's contest compared to the man we are talking about?
I don't want to go into that comparison, because I belong to the All Progressive Congress. My candidate is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And I am not going to do a comparison, because my vote alone will neither make him or mind him. And he's a candidate from the Labour Party. I'm sure that Labour Party members will talk good about him.
Okay, are you supporting Tinubu because of political party affiliation or because of competence?
I'm supporting Tinubu because of his competence, one. than party affiliation too.
Okay. Now, talking about back here in Abia State, we know at the point, even after your federal house and then the Senate, there have been one or two times you came out for the governorship of the state. And recently, this thing was zoned to the Abia Central, where you belong, the Umunnato as they are called. And then a lot of people had hoped this is an opportunity for you to click the ticket of the governorship of Abia State, and you were not in the picture. What happened?
I'm not a serial contestant, and I don't want to be described as such. There's a time for everything. And spiritually, psychologically, physically, I never prepared myself for governorship race in 2023. So I knew it was, there were rumors, and eventually it happened that at least more parties from Abia Central chose their candidates from, more parties actually in Abia State chose their candidates from Abia Central. I'm not one of them because I didn't even buy the ticket. You know, they say if you want to win lottery, you have to first buy the ticket. I didn't buy the ticket, and I'm not regretting it. There's a time for everything. I did not think it was time for me. I did not prepare myself, and I don't have to be a contestant at all times at that level. I would like to be described in today's politics as a queen maker. So I don't have to be a participant. I don't have to be in the field of contestants at all times. I'm happy to be in the position I am to help my party and to make things happen in Abia State.
Okay, ma'am. As an outstanding woman...
Sir, please. I got it. Back to Go.
Mommy, as an outstanding person in Abia politics, especially in the Abia Central, recently the Ukalangwa Elders Council came together and formed a clique. All the Ukalangwa is talking about the 9 geopolitical zones in Abia, in Abia State, the 9 local governments in Abia State. And then they came together and come out with a consensus candidate, who eventually is of the PDP. And I know that when you talk about Palangwa Elders Councils, they don't belong to one political party. And they came out to choose a particular person. And as we speak, there have been this problem in APC state here in Abia, court and counter court judgment from high court to this. And then, are you part of those who suggested, because I know as an elder states person, and then this has come to be, and they chose one Professor Eliezer Ikone for Abia State government come 2023.
I don't understand what you said by Ukalangwa. It must be Ukalangwa
Elders Council.
Elders Councils of PDP, and I'm not from PDP. I'm APC. So that should be very clear. I could not have been in a meeting where PDP are considering their own candidate. Politics is a game of interest. Complete game of interest. I belong to APC. I don't belong to PDP, and I never attended such meeting. I believe that after court cases, we will have our own candidate. I agreed we have problems in our party in Abia State. After the Supreme Court, we will know who is our own candidate. But I know that PDP has Professor Eliezer Ikone. That's PDP. That's the much I want to talk about that.
Okay, ma. Yes, having said that, and they said nature abhors vacuum, and the court matter continues in Abia APC. And if nothing happens until this election takes place, the state won't be vacant. So you must be bound to at least
Definitely. I am Abia State.
Yes.
I'm a citizen from Abia State, rather. And what you said is very correct. Nature abhors vacuum. Let's wait, watch and wait and see. And we will we will cross the bridge when we get there. That's what I want to say on that too.
Okay, ma. Now, what is your message for Abians?
Well, my message for them is wishing them a very prosperous new year and believing that the good Lord has kept the good Lord that has kept them from January to this date will usher us all into the new year 2023. And I want to use this opportunity to thank Abians, because it seems Abia State, from what I'm seeing, is the most peaceful state so far in terms of insecurity. God has been securing us. May we continue to live in peace and in love and in friendship. And once again, I want to tell us we should not try to hurt anybody because of politics. Politics will come and go. Abians and Abia State will remain forever. Let's have that at the back of our mind. There is nothing of politics, whether politics or non-politics, that should make anybody to begin to think of hurting a brother or a sister. I wish you all a prosperous new year, God loving and blessings in the new year. Thank you.
That's the much we're going to take for now. Remember, you don't have to die for any person. Vote with your mind and heart. Thank you. Mommy, thank you.
Wow.